Welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to speak loud because I don't have my lavalier mic on today. We just moved. This is my new meditation room, which I love. Meditation and yoga room, an asana room rather. And but it's still full of boxes and stuff, so I haven't sort of worked it all out yet. Anyway, let's see. Can you hear me? Tell me if you can't hear me. If the volume's not good enough, I'll get a little closer. Okay, so I wanted to talk about using breath in asana practice. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is somebody put a comment on my Facebook page this week. And what she said was, I hate structural breath. Basically, I shouldn't say that. She said, I can't do structural breath in asanas. It feels really counterintuitive to me. I don't like it. It makes me not want to finish your course. And I was like, okay, I need to live stream about that because you know your brain is like Velcro for negative comments and Teflon for positive. You know, people can tell you all these great things and then you're just like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then somebody says, wait, I don't like structural breath. And, you know, and then I'm like, okay, I have to help. So I realized that's my problem. But, and then I thought, well, maybe it's really helpful because I have to say that personally, when I started doing structural breath, when I started studying more and more Vini Yoga, which was like in the early 2000s, I thought, you know, this breath feels really weird. Like I learned to do belly breathing. Belly breathing is so grounding. It's so wonderful. You know, there's lots of good reasons to do belly breathing. And I didn't want to do structural breath. It didn't make sense to me. But the thing was, I kept circling back to it because people would say, oh, structural breath is so good for asanas, it's so supportive. So I kept circling back to structural breath. And finally I started to get it. So the first thing I want to say is, if you don't get it on the first try, don't give up. You know, just come back to it sometimes. But also don't, you know, beat yourself up for not getting it. It's okay. You know, there's lots of different ways to breathe. There's lots of good breathing out there. So if it's not the right fit for you, that's okay. All right. So the next thing I want to say is, particularly with clients or students who have some kind of a trauma history, you're telling them to go deep into their breathing apparatus and their breathing patterns and make changes in it. That can cause a lot of kind of backlash or a lot of discomfort or even anxiety. So we can't expect everybody to be able to breathe the way we tell them to. You know, we want to give people a lot of resources first. We want to help them to identify their own resources. They feel safe in your class. They feel like they're permitted to do things other than what you tell them to do. You know, they keep wanting to come back. They feel safe with the other people in the class. All of those things are important before you start getting to breath. And then making sure people are comfortable with movement and moving slowly and tolerating slow movement. All of those things are next. And then after that, starting to get into sensations in the body, noticing how the body feels in certain postures. That can even be more important than breath. But the reason that you want to get people to the breath is because the breath is the line into the autonomic nervous system. So when you use breath, you have a direct link into the autonomic nervous system. You can make changes in that system. For somebody who is dealing with hyperarousal, dealing with too much activation in the system, you can help them change it via the breath. The breath is the one autonomic function that we have conscious control over. Oh, well, also blinking, but breath is a little bit more of a direct link to that autonomic nervous system. You can help somebody who has low energy to bring the energy up via the breath. So there's so many good reasons to get people to the breath, but you have to take them there slowly, methodically, mindfully, with lots of compassion and empathy, because it may not be, right, it may not be the first thing that people can do. And think about that for yourself too, right? It's not just my clients and my students, it's also me. Okay. So that being said, let's do a couple of practices now that may be helpful for you in sort of getting it or understanding structural breath a little bit better. So the first one, and these I learned from one of my most important teachers, Gary Kraftso. So the first one is to do belly breathing, right? So put your hands on your navel or slightly lower. And as you inhale, press the belly forward. And as you exhale, gently feel the belly drawing in. Now, there's so many other nuances to this belly breathing practice, but what I want you to get is that sense of kind of inhibiting the respiratory musculature and apparatus, and breathing more into the belly. Okay, so you got that? Now, when you do that belly breathing, and again, you want to inhibit this secondary musculature. Keep this stuff still and breathe into the belly. Now, the next time you inhale, I want you to feel your arms move out to the side. Breathe into your belly. And when you exhale, the belly draws in, the hands come back. You can change which hand comes to your belly first. Do that one again. Okay. That's the experiment. Now, here's the next part. See if now you can take your breath up here. Use your hands if you want, because the hands help to increase that proprioceptive as well as interoceptive awareness. So where my body is in space and how my body feels. So breathing into the chest and exhaling. Right, so now you inhibit the belly a little bit. I mean, technically, at the end of your inhale, you let go of the belly. And then you exhale from the belly up to the chest. That's structural breath. So the inhale is to here. I'm assuming you know a little bit about structural breath, by the way. So inhale is to here, here under your arms, and then the belly, and then exhale is from the belly up. Okay, now you've got that one. Now here's the next thing. So we did belly breathing with the arms out. Now put your hands here or here, it doesn't matter. And as you inhale, let the arms come out to the side, but you're structural breathing now. You're feeling how the arms move with the breath. Exhale from here, right? So inhale, chest, and then belly, and exhale from your belly to your chest. You can change which hand touches your chest first. That's always good for your brain. And then just take a moment and notice how different that is than belly breathing. Right? Did you notice it? So do belly breathing again. So you're breathing into your belly, arms come out to the side. And then exhaling from the navel. So get that belly breathing stuff going. How does that feel to move your arms when you're inhibiting this, right? Okay, and then breathe into here, breathe in structural breath. And let the belly go at the end, and then engage the belly and come back in. Such a different experience. If you're not feeling the difference in the experience, just come back, revisit this video, try it again in a couple of days. You know, you don't have to feel like you have to get it right away. It took me a long time. I would say it took me a couple of years, actually, to really understand and value structural breath. It's different, you know. It's different than what we learn in a lot of other practices. So that little exercise is one that I teach quite frequently. Like I said, I learned it from Gary Crafso, and that can be super helpful in helping people to start to see, like, why is structural breath useful? Now, if you like, we have a few more minutes, so if you like, come on down onto your back here with me. And what we'll do is bring the knees up to the chest, and then start to experience structural breath from here, from the belly. It's a little different and more exhale. So as you inhale, fill up the chest. And then as you exhale, feel the navel going towards the spine. And with almost no hands, and the knees draw in. So inhale into the chest, under the arms, and then exhale, navel to the spine. Now, after you've done that a couple of times, we're doing the same thing. See if you can breathe into your belly on your inhale. Keep your belly out on your inhale and exhale from your chest, and feel how the knees don't go in. Right? This gives you more the exhale part. What we're doing sitting was more about the inhale, but you feel how the knees don't come in. So that exhale where the navel really sinks is what allows the knees to do their thing. And This is Apanasana, right? The posture that's meant to be really good for elimination and for the digestive system, massaging the digestive organs. You see how the breath does that. The breath is really what's making the movement happen. So let's inhale into the chest and exhale from the belly. One more. Chest, under your arms, and then exhale from your belly. And bring your feet down flat and your arms by your side. And just take a moment here and breathe and notice. And then roll to your side, stretch your top leg as you lift up. So anybody have questions? We'll look at my screen right now. Does anybody have questions? Do you have any questions you want to ask or comments you want to make about structural breath before I finish for today? I hope this is a helpful demonstration. And I hope that you try structural breath in your own practice. And then I also hope that you teach it, because about 4 out of 5 people will have some kind of lower back pain at some point in their life. And understanding structural breath can be super helpful in understanding how to transfer the skills we learn in yoga to daily life, to how optimal movement can really help protect and support the back. Okay, I'm going to say good night then. Well, good afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. Namaste.